So I'll start the meeting. It's March 21st, Thursday, regular meeting, starting at 6:01 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Be it resolved that the meeting be called to order and that the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Bichetti moves, Councilor Kleiber seconds it. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Next is addendum to the agenda. There is one that we have, which is a municipal economic development infrastructure program. Like to have a resolution that we accept it. Be it resolved that council accept the following addition, deletions, or changes to the agenda. Add the municipal economic development infrastructure program to an in-camera session. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor Kleiber moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll second it.
Councilor Patcan seconds it. Any comments, questions? Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none.
Opposed?
Oh, you're opposed? Okay.
Yep.
One opposed. It's 4-3, carried. Going down now to 7.1. Committee of the Whole minutes, to accept the minutes. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held on March 5th, 2024 be approved. Could I have a seconder, please?
I'll move.
Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Can I have a mover, please? Oh, a
I'll
mover.
move.
Move it. Can I have a seconder, please?
So seconded.
Councilor Patcan seconds it. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Down to 7.2, regular planning minutes. Be it resolved that minutes of the regular planning meeting of council held on March 7th be approved. Could I have a mover, please?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Councilor Kleiber moves, Councilor Patcan seconds it. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Going down now to bylaws, 9.1. Second reading of bylaw 22403 to rescind Recreation Committee, bylaw 2018-3. Be it resolved that the bylaw 2024-03 being a bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul to rescind Recreation Committee bylaw 2018-03 be read a second time. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Councilor Campbell, Councilor Campbell moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Councilor Shetty seconds it. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. 9.2, second reading of the Recreation Committee Reserve Fund bylaw. Be it resolved that the bylaw 2024-05 being a bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul for the purpose of creating a recreation sports reserve fund be read a second time. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor Patcan moves.
I'll
Councilor
second.
Kleiber seconds it. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, carried. Second reading of the Access Center Reserve Fund bylaw 2024, resolution 24, okay. Be it resolved that the bylaw 2024-06 being a bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul to update the name and provisions established in the Sonoma Center Reserve Fund and rescind bylaw 2012-16 be read a second time. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Councilor
Second.
Shetty moves, Councilor Campbell seconds it. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, carried. 9.4, third reading of the bylaw 2024-03. Be it resolved that the bylaw 2024-03 being a bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul to rescind Recreation Committee bylaw 2018-03 be read a third and final time. Signed, sealed, and therefore passed as a bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor Kleiber moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll second it.
Councilor Patcan seconds it. Any comments, questions? This will be a recorded vote, I see, is that right? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Give Laney some time, you got it all? Okay, good. 9.5, third reading of Recreation Sports Reserve Fund bylaw. Be read for a third time. Be it resolved that the bylaw 2024-05 being the bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul for the purpose of creating a recreational sports reserve fund be read a third and final time, signed, sealed, and therefore passed as a bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul. Could I have a mover, please?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Peccan moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second.
Councilor Bichetti seconds. Any comments, questions? None. Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. 9.6, third reading of excess reserve fund bylaw. Be it resolved that the bylaw 2024-06, being a bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul, to update the names and provisions established in the Synovus Center Reserve Fund, rescinded bylaw, be read a third and final time, signed, sealed, and therefore passed as a bylaw of the rural municipality of West St. Paul. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll
Councilor
move it.
Bichetti moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
Second it.
Councilor Peccan seconds it. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. Takes us down now to 10.1, accounts received for information. Anyone have any questions on the payment register? Seeing none, hearing none. Checks for any of the void checks? Seeing none, or hearing none, I should say. Okay, now we go down to the payroll statement. Any questions on, I guess we gotta read. Yeah, okay, first, yeah. Be it resolved that the payroll for the month of February as always be approved as presented. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Councilor Campbell moves. Can I have a seconder? Councilor Kleiber seconds it. Any comments or questions regarding that payroll? Seeing none, okay, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None, carried. We go down now to the CAO's report. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accept the CAO's report as information. Can I have a mover, please?
So moved.
Councilor Peccan moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll second.
Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any comments, questions? Councilor Peccan?
Yeah, just, I see on the CAO's report, that the cell tower bylaw, the draft document is complete. I'm looking forward to, when this will be coming forward. This council is very interested in that. I know there's residents that are interested in the cell tower bylaw and what that will, how that will shape the municipality and cell towers, moving forward. So just, looking forward maybe, when that will be coming forward.
It'll be coming forward in April.
April?
Yeah.
Okay. And then just regarding, I see on the snow clearing front, I'll just make a comment regarding the municipality and then a comment regarding the province of Manitoba. I thought the municipality did a pretty good job with snow clearing, and so I want to put on record my appreciation to the RM for that. But at the same time, I think there's some room for improvement with regards to the province of Manitoba. I know there's been some articles in the past regarding the province of Manitoba looking to do a 24-hour snow clearing operation. I heard the Minister of Infrastructure speaking on major radio station talking about how they're ramping up to doing that, and that they were in a bit of a deficit position with regards to staffing. Is there an opportunity, Mr. CAO, to have your counterpart at the province of Manitoba come and address this council with perhaps a status update of what they know with regards to snow clearing, the current services, and in the last snow event we had caused some considerable hardship for people. I know I've been always talking about Highway number 9 and Highway number 8 being economic corridors, and a lot of people do commute from this area to the city of Winnipeg and from city to Selkirk. But it posed some issues, and even if you go on Manitoba 511, you can see that the road condition report was snow covered and it's poor visibility. And the poor visibility I could see, but when plows aren't able to get out for a snow event where the snow stops at midnight, and there's an opportunity to plow it between midnight and 6 o'clock in the morning before the rush, I just think there's a bit of a gap that could be addressed, and I'd just like to hear from your counterparts of the province of Manitoba regarding some of, at least make them aware of what we're experiencing, and perhaps hear what they have to say regarding that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're working to arrange for a presentation with Manitoba Infrastructure to provide, basically, now that the season is done, sort of an overall debrief of sort of operations, and so we can have a conversation with them in terms of having common understanding of expectations. So yes, we are working to do that in the coming weeks or month or so, in the hopes of kind of having a debrief while everything's still fresh in everybody's mind.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
just want to say, with regards to your report, I see on the first page that there's you're talking about, you gave an update on the water reservoir expansion with regards to a 50% cost sharing, and then part of it would go back to the developer as development moves on, a contribution, I guess, from the developer back to the RM. So that's good. I'm glad
Yeah.
to see that's moving along.
Yes.
There's been this council approved sort of a major subdivision north of here, and like to see that happen. So thanks for the work you're doing on that.
Yeah, we had some conversations with Manitoba Water Services Board this week and the previous week. There's some minor tweaks that were needed on the final tender package, but expectations is it'll be released shortly with a target of closing of late April to early May. So we'll be closing tender packages within that time frame.
Good.
Councilor Clyburn?
I have a question on that. Have you established a priority list of who will be able to purchase water units first?
We are working on putting together a strategy in terms of the allocation of ERUs, and the thinking behind that really should be driven by a number of things, including sort of how the development is expected to progress, and how the community wants development to progress throughout the community, and the allocation of ERUs sort of on that basis, as well as sort of an overall development plan. So we're working on putting together a plan in terms of how and where we allocate ERUs.
Yeah, because there's been people that have been waiting for ERUs, and there's a couple of developments that we have approved pending ERU units. So
Yes.
one of them being the north development, which Councillor Can referred to, but also the one by the candle factory on Main Street. They're also waiting for ERUs.
Yeah.
And then there's also another development that's waiting for ERUs as well. So want to make sure that we offer it to everybody who's been waiting.
Yes, well, absolutely, and as well, I mean, once we sort of have closure and award of the tender, we'll have some clear visibility in terms of when the reservoir will be online and when those ERUs will be able to be made available. Expectation is we'll know that, and we'll sort of be in a position to start allocating those ERUs shortly.
And we should also know what our balance is as far as.
Yes.
There's some that have been sold back, and so it would be good to know how many have actually been sold in total now that we're responsible for, and what's left with the new cell.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And also what's being used.
Well, being used is neither here nor there. If we've sold it, right? If we sold that ERU to somebody, then they can use it anytime.
We can also buy back.
We can buy it back, but we can't oversell.
Councillor
That's the
Whiteside.
one thing we shouldn't be doing.
Councillor Frenchco.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, thanks. I just have two more questions for our CAO. Just with regards to the road, I lost my spot here. Last year, you talked about how you got the tenders out, or how the tenders were put out on May the 4th, and then for the 2024 road program, the tenders are being developed right now, which is good. Is that because, I'm just wondering to know, is it being developed now because of the budget, or could it be done earlier to get better pricing for the roads? I'm just,
We don't want to award before the budget is closed, but we can certainly issue the tender before or the budget is approved. So the plan is to issue the roads tender on a week today.
okay.
And basically have a close in sort of, again, similar to the water reservoir, late April, and look for mobilization shortly thereafter.
So in your opinion, I guess my question is, I'm just trying to drive at, is it a best practice to tender it out in May for April pricing, or would it be more advantageous to tender it out in February for better pricing? I'm just-
Oh, I think the sooner you get it out, the better, as a rule of thumb. If we get to a point where we get into having first calls available, perhaps even as early as December, we could look at issuing tenders even earlier. Something to keep in mind is sometimes the way when we issue our roads tenders, we make minor adjustments, or we make adjustments in the spring. And the only disadvantage of issuing a tender, say, in December or January, is you wouldn't be in the same position to undertake those inspections of the road in the spring, see what kind of new issues have risen or popped up over the winter, and not be able to address them in the tender. So we're in a little bit of a sweet spot right now, because we can get a look at the roads, we can put together the priorities, and we can issue the tenders accordingly, and still get a relatively early award, because that timeline is lining up with sort of the expected approval of the budget. So we could go earlier, but you would kind of lose the ability to sort of adapt to and spec changes that occur over the winter. You can certainly add those as change orders after the fact, but you lose some leverage. Unless perhaps, I guess we could look at options in terms of how we could spec that in terms of unit pricing or otherwise, but things always come up that are just easier to include at the time.
Yeah, okay, that's good news. I just want to hear that you're working with sort of in best practice sweet spot, and I
Yeah.
think that you are, and if you're looking for ways to optimize, I think that's good. My final question is regarding the report in your report from the Director of Infrastructure and Manager of Public Works regarding the ditching of the curbs and the ice from the developments. Is that something that's good? You may not know this, but maybe you can bring it back later on at another meeting with regards to when does that take place? Is it RM responsibility to do the ditches and, like in Ward 3, like the rural areas as well, like for the flow of water in the ditches? I've seen it happen before, and I just want to know, is it the timing? Does that timing occur now, or does it occur
Yeah.
later?
Right now, the Public Works managers is actively monitoring sort of the flow and the condition of the ditches, and sort of dealing with issues as they come up, sort of on a spot treatment type of basis. And then, so we've already begun sort of the maintenance and clearing as required. A lot of the ditches, frankly, are flowing quite well on their own this year, because there is so little snow cover. So there hasn't been a lot of work that's needed, just some sort of hotspot clearing that has needed to occur. But that is happening now and has been happening, and the Manager of Public Works has been keeping a close eye on that and responding to that appropriately.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So just to add to Councillor Pat Canis, I went down Blackdale and Pipeline today, and they already did some ditching down there.
Oh, good.
I think it was down Blackdale,
Blackdale.
before Grassmere, so.
There's always water, there's always a lake.
Yeah,
deal, so.
yeah,
it's
so
good
it
that
was
they're-
done already, so that was nice to see.
They started last Friday.
Yeah. And also, just to add to Councillor Clyburn comment, you're doing, I see that you're doing in, what do you call it here?
Policy.
Yeah, policy for EURs, is that what you're?
ERU.
ERUs.
Yeah, would that address what Councillor Clyburn was asking about, or?
We're looking at coming up with a, I think it makes sense to formulate it in a policy, we haven't got that far yet. We're formulating a practice, I guess what I'd say. It probably makes sense to formalize it in a policy and bring that forward though.
Okay. Any other questions? Great, so, I guess.
Call the question.
Yep, call the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, seeing none, carried. Takes us down to 14.1, West St. Paul Recreation Committee meeting as information. Does anyone have any questions on that?
No.
Okay, is there a resolution?
No, there's no resolution,
Okay,
because we did the resolution already,
okay.
to be said.
15, there's fee charges and bylaws. Now, we're at 15.1. Be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul accept the amendment of Schedule A for the fees and charges bylaw as presented. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Councilor Clyburn moves. Can I have a seconder, please?
Seconded.
Councilor Paxton seconds. Can I have anyone have any questions, comments?
Yeah, I was just wondering, so the only fee that's changed is weed control, right? And,
Oh, sorry.
and, from what I can see, it went from $10 minimum charge to a $50 minimum charge. So is that just for time that, our, staff have to go out there, that kind of thing?
Yeah, to clarify, we still intend to come forward with a revision to the fees and charges manual for
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
This is a one-of that we wanna get in place ahead of time, because we're interested in providing some notification to residents, that have, been, frequent, violators in the past. And so the idea is to get out and give proactive messaging to them that, you know, if you're not gonna be taking care of your yard, if there's gonna be weed issues, this is the consequence and this is a penalty. So we wanted to get this, fee revised in time for that notification, so we can get it out and we can start providing notice before we get into sort of the grass cutting and weed growing season. Historically, the recovery for the amount of administration and the amount of time that goes into monitoring and addressing these things, $10 is far, far, far too low. We can only recover the actual cost of the mowing that happens or by the contractor. And so as a result, we only recover that plus the administrative charge. So every time we go out and mow, you know, people are getting their grass mowed for $35, $40. It's hardly a disincentive to keep care of your own yard. In reality, our administrative fees are probably at least $50 per property, at least. And so to charge back at sort of a more realistic rate seems to make sense, both in terms of enforcement and in terms of recovery of RM expenses.
Yeah, and I would think that it's gonna cost that much for you to get somebody out there.
Oh, just for you know, our bylaw enforcement officer to get out, check, see if it's an issue, provide a notice, provide another notice, $10,
It's nothing.
No, it's
It
nothing.
looks like it hasn't been updated since 2016, so that's 8 years ago.
Yeah,
That's a long time
yeah,
ago.
so we're recommending that we revise the administration fee associated with this to more realistically reflect reality and hopefully encourage people to be proactive on their own.
Yep, sounds good.
Councilor Paxton?
Yeah, no, thanks. I appreciate the line of questioning from Councillor Clyburn. Is this fee too low? It sounds like it might be too low, or it's not gonna keep up with the times, and it could we maybe put escalation figure in there, maybe, annually, or start off at 125 maybe? or-
Yeah, I certainly don't think it's too high. I would agree with you. I want to sort of, the thinking being that if it's the contractor charges, say $40 for a typical lot, and a $50 administrative fee, a $90 fine might be enough to get people's attention. If we wanna put in an escalator, I think that's probably a good idea, so we don't come back every year. I don't think we wanna be in a situation where we're overcharging, because then we'll be in violation of the act. And I think we wanna be reflective of reality. I think we wanna be in a defensible position, but I also wanna, I wanna think that, we're discouraging, folks from basically using us as a yard service.
My personal opinion is that it should I mean, I think it's too low, personally. I think it should be at least 75, if not 125, but, is this to the MLO, is this the time that if council wanted to revise the figure, we could do that at this point?
You could revise at this point or at any time. You can update this bylaw by resolution, so council can do that at any time.
I would think that we should see how it goes this year, and then revisit it next year.
Could we consider an escalation maybe of 2% a year? That might be reasonable.
At least inflation, right?
Yeah, 2%, maybe, or 2.5%.
Yeah.
2%'s $1.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, I have a,
Go ahead.
This is
Councilor.
just
I
the,
think you
Excuse
revisited,
me,
this is
Councilor
a,
Clyburn,
sorry,
Councilor Campbell has the floor.
go ahead, Councilor Campbell.
this is just the administration fee part of it, not,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
just so that everybody
Yeah.
is clear,
I'm
yeah.
aware of
I-
that.
Yeah, okay.
But I think, I'll just say this, Mayor, we're going from 10 to 50, which is a drastic change.
Yeah.
And to go from 10 to 100 is even, we're gonna have to answer for a lot.
It's a catch-up, it's not a drastic change.
Well, but it is for people.
Yeah, but if they mow their lawns and have the high standards, they shouldn't worry about it.
True, but I'm just saying, when you go from 10 to 50 or 10 to 100, 10 to 100 is a lot more. A big change, that's a big change for people.
I'm good with 50.
Yeah, I'm good with 50 for now. And I'd say revisit it as you come through your first summer, how many you have in violation, whether or not you think it's being covered. As you said, if we're overcharging,
I sort of agree with Councilor Batka. I think just as a safety, we should just put in an escalation. Like, I know it's only $1, but at least there's something in there that it's automatically raising, just in case for some reason we don't get a chance to review this next year. We might be reviewing it in 2 years. At least there's something to keep up with inflation. And then maybe we can revisit it after next year or 2 years after that and see.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think if people are on top of their lawn and are, obviously they have pride of ownership, they have nothing to fear with this particular issue. I think that it's too low personally, and that's fine. I can agree to disagree with the council colleagues, but I'd like to definitely see at least a 2% escalation. I'd like to move that we put a 2% escalation, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, anyone want to second it?
well, you have to see if the mover and the seconder want to change it. Who's your mover and seconder on this one?
That would be Councillor Paxton and Councillor Clyburn.
Yeah,
Are you amenable to that?
No.
No? Okay.
I think just keep it at $50 and revisit it.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay, can I call for anyone else have any comments, questions? Seeing none, okay, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. That was 50.
No, it's not.
Okay, next is 15.2, municipality water system assessment. Be it resolved that the council of the rural municipality accept the sole source professional service proposal from Stantec Consulting for the West St. Paul water system assessment in the amount of $10,312 plus taxes. Be it further resolved that the cost be borne from the water reserve. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Can I have Councilor Bichetti moves it? Can I have a seconder, please?
I'll second.
Councilor Clyber seconds it. Any comments, questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Councilor Clyber.
I noticed that the resolution says it's a sole source professional service. Why is it only solely sourced from them?
They, what, the- what we need to do is we need to undertake the water system assessment, and it's a self-assessment. It has to be done by an expert firm or firm that has expertise in this regard. So it could be one of a number of different consulting firms that we could look at. The reason we recommend going with the sole source is really threefold. The first is Stantec has close knowledge and a strong understanding of our water utility system and our system and how it operates. They also have a good working relationship with the ODW, the Office of Drinking Water. So it makes sense that they would be a front runner. The idea of going to a sole source is really, quite frankly, is that the scale of the work itself is it's a small enough award. It's sort of in and around $10,000 plus tax, and to go through an RFP process, sort of the amount of effort administratively and for the various consulting firms really would outweigh or be disproportionate to the value of the award in itself. It's not uncommon in procurement policies. This provision doesn't exist within the RM's procurement policy, but it's not uncommon in some procurement policies to have sections that treat professional services with a different threshold for this reason, because preparing a tender with unit prices or things like that is a quicker, more mechanical process for a contractor, and so coming out with a tender award sort of at lower thresholds or getting 3 quotes at lower thresholds isn't uncommon, and having maybe a higher sole source threshold for professional services isn't uncommon. So what we're suggesting is that because of the expertise that Stantec has, the expertise they have with our local water and utility distribution system, and because of the amount of administrative work both internally and externally that would be required to go out for 3 or 4 different RFPs, really outweighs any potential value that you're gonna get on a firm that is less familiar with Stantec than Stantec for the value of the contract, which is really a $10,000 award. So that's why we're recommending a sole source. Realizing that we could not sole source this administratively, the only option is to come forward to council and get approval to do so. So that's why we're here.
Yeah, cause it's in contravention to our
It-
tender and procurement policy.
This is, yeah, exactly. This is, I mean, there is within the procurement policy, it is council's prerogative to award the sole sources, but this is a case where we think it makes sense to sole source, even though it's over the $8,000 limit, being 10,000.
Any other questions? Seeing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Next is 15.3, water lift station force main financing policy. Be it resolved that the council of the municipality of West St. Paul approve and adopt the wastewater lift station and force main financing policy COU 2024-1 as presented. Could I have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Council Bichetti moves. Could I have a seconder, please?
Second it.
Council Patcan seconds it. Any comments, questions? Councilor Cliver, go ahead.
Yeah, I noticed that there's an attached map, and there's some, areas in red. Are those the only areas that this would apply to then?
Yes.
Okay, so if Rivercrest needed a new lift station, it would not apply to Rivercrest?
No.
Okay,
Rivercrest was constructed in the 2000s. This policy applies to
oh, okay,
Areas
so
built
this
prior
policy
to-
only applies to
prior to 1980.
areas that would need a lift station
Prior to 1980.
prior to activity, okay. And is that, the red area here, oh, this would be Rossmore and Addis area then, that's showing on the other side of the perimeter?
Give me a moment, I've got a black copy. Let me look on the
There's
line.
no
Oh, here we
I
go.
think that it might be,
Yes, okay.
That's where the
Yeah.
sewer ended last
or
time.
which one is it? What do you
That's
think?
Ross Moratis where the sewer ended, the
Yes.
last time we did that extension.
Oh, okay, so this next section, this would be
Yep.
the next section.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? None. I just have one, is that, I think it's, I see that's coming out of the sewer reserve, which is good, but I still am a little leery on this policy, because I think it sets a precedence. And I have difficulty supporting this policy, so I'm gonna just call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Opposed, so it's carried. Next, we go down to number 18, which is question period. Go ahead, come on forward, please.
Thank you. I have a few questions. Eleanor Link, 1045 Toshack Road. A few quick questions. Looking at the payment register, check numbers 46265, the next one, and the next one, 46268. What do the numbers, I think these are project numbers, but I'm not sure, in the brackets, in the reference section, what do those numbers or projects refer to?
Which are the numbers? I think I know what you're.
Report C NBEHKM sewer dash West St. Paul 14.
Okay, those refer to projects with, we have with Manitoba Stewardship Project.
What specific projects?
I don't think we.
Go ahead.
I'm just, is that, it's for projects that we have approved through the RM, so is it something that is needed for a specific reason?
Is there a problem answering?
No, it's just that we're looking at where the
I'm
projects are
curious.
going when it's through our budgeted process and approving them. It's just, I don't understand why we need the specifics on it. We have administration and council keeping tabs on those, so it's just,
So a resident can ask a question that they would like to know the answer for.
it just sounds like you get right into some of them where it's projects that we've approved through our budget that are going on in West St. Paul.
Are those projects secret?
No,
I'd like to know.
you're
what they
quite
are.
aware of a lot of
I'd
them.
like to know what they are.
So I can, by looking at it, I know what it is, so I'll answer the question. One, NBE is Nutavik, Evelyn, and Nye sewer. The projects that we're doing right now, Evelyn, Minnehaha, that's what that one is. The other one, which is number 11, is the water distribution system. I'm not too sure if that's that type.
I think that's the extension, North
Project.
Main.
Yeah, going north, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, and the other one is the water supply reservoir expense, which is, I'm not quite, I think is that what it is? That's the water extension, water main
no.
extension?
The reservoir,
That's the reservoir.
reservoir expenses. That's 13.
Oh, right, reservoir, yes, that's 13, and 15, I think it's the one that's going up north, that one alongside the perimeter. Toward Second Avenue. It was done last year.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what that was. And these are,
I think that's right.
yeah, and these are just payments that we made to the Water Services
Yes,
Board, or?
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's a water source.
It's left what was owing from the initial project that we had, our 50% portion from it, right?
Okay.
So these are reports that come to the RM4 from Water Services Board.
Thank you. for
Is
the
your status,
information.
yeah. Okay,
Were these projects part of a general plan for water distribution?
yeah, it was discussed in in council. It was initiated, we had a resolution on it to fund some of these projects. One of them, when it went down, the perimeter was a resolution done last year in the springtime, right, April? And then there was the water study to the,
So,
Go ahead.
so these decisions are made through resolution, not through the application of a master plan
no, they're all done by resolution. I'm gonna,
as they come up.
yes.
Thank
The
you.
ones that I see here that have been so far that I'm aware of.
Well, they're also a result of, developments being approved that require water. So one of them is the northern edge.
Yeah, but that's what we had that resolution on. for that-
Exactly,
that
so we did a
study, right?
resolution
Yeah.
and we're dealing with it because we approved,
Yes,
a development that needs water, so.
Yeah.
And further to that, the applications to Manitoba Water Services Board are recommended and approved by council on a priority basis. Those applications are recommended on a priority basis, which follow, the strategic plan.
Thank you. Then on the second page, check 46305, the February newsletter, the number in brackets, does that number refer to the number of copies of the newsletter that is distributed?
that's a good question, I don't know. That's the one, what's the number? 4605?
3675.
4675?
3675.
That's the number of.
46305.
The check
Yeah.
number is 46305.
Yes.
Right, but the reference is 3675?
Yeah, that's the number of 178, okay, right.
I don't know, is that the allocation, number that you created to refer back to the budget? Or
No, this
was
is-
that the amount of it?
Our MLO is saying that's the number of copies that were printed.
Okay.
Okay. And do all homes in West St. Paul receive a copy of the newsletter through the mail?
They're supposed to, from what I'm
Yes.
understanding is.
Goes by postal code.
I thought weren't these questions answered a couple weeks ago?
But I think there was a concern with it. Are you aware of that? There might be some that are not going to all the homes?
That's what I'm told.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, it goes by it goes by contract usually through the postal services. So I don't know if you could probably talk to Canada Post and put a complaint in because they're the one distributing it.
Who would speak to Canada Post?
Well, a resident would need
You
to,
would have to, if you didn't get it, you'd have to report it. The other option is you can come in through the front door and the newsletter's right there. As you know, when you're going for election and you have to do a mass distribution, you have to go and pay for that, and that's what we're doing, a mass distribution. So there's no discrimination against any one person.
No, not any one person, but I believe that there are homes south of the perimeter that are not getting them delivered. They are taxpayers like everybody north of the perimeter, so
Tho-
they're not getting the service.
Well, I
That's
was,
some of them that everybody north of the perimeter is getting.
I will say
That's my
this to
point.
you, Mrs. Lang, is that I know of people in the south perimeter that are getting them and are not even part of West St. Paul, but come under the postal code and therefore are receiving the newsletter. So the south is receiving their newsletter.
if you know anybody that's not getting it, I'd welcome them to email me and I would look into it.
Just put a request for service in and
Yeah,
it'll
but
be
I
taken
would,
care of
I
through
will go and
administration.
canvass other neighbors and see if they're getting it or not, so if
Good
anybody's,
advice. Perfect,
yeah.
thank you. I think it is the municipality's responsibility to get their newsletter to their residents.
But
if
that's
they don't know
what-
it's-
Yeah, how are they supposed to know?
Yeah.
They could put a question in the newsletter.
Okay. Council monthly reports. Has a decision been made by council that council monthly reports are optional, or that they may be, submitted four at a time, or
Well, you didn't
are
like
they
mine?
not a monthly
You didn't like mine?
obligation, as filling in indemnity forms are a monthly obligation?
I don't think our council reports are an obligation. They're
Excuse me,
supposed to be.
The mayor, please.
Are they an obligation? As far as I know, they're not an obligation. I don't see anything where it says that they have to put them in.
They're just, a history of it, that's all.
Yes, that's all.
Okay.
And it's left up to each
That's fine,
council member
That's
to
the-
put it in.
right.
Okay.
It is one way that councillors can say to the people who vote that they are doing certain things on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
It's an indicator.
No,
That's
that's,
all.
that's fair, yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anyone else have any questions? No, quiet, 5 minutes.
Irma Albert,
Get to it,
312
yeah,
Edward.
exactly.
First, I apologize for arriving late, and perhaps the questions were answered, but regarding the same checks that Mrs. Link talked about to the Minister of Finance, the projects with Water Services Board, that number in brackets is the project number. So the latest report from Water Services, which covers the fiscal year up to March of 2023 and came out in recent months, it doesn't have a project 14 or 15 for West St. Paul. Project 11 is the water distribution system. That's been in place for a few years now,
Mhm.
probably signed around 2021-ish. And so the report that comes from Water Services Board at year end on each of the projects would have come through again towards the end of 2023. The understanding that I have from Water Services Board is that it's for, it serves for transparency and accountability. It has multiple projects on it that I believe include some of the ones that were referenced in the earlier discussion with Mrs. Leak. I'm wondering when the council will bring that forward for presentation and discussion, the project report from at least 2023, if not 2022, on Project 11, which is the water distribution. And then I think it's Project 14 is the sewer project that did not pass first reading in December, so how is it necessary to make large amounts of payment to the Minister of Finance, as in Water Services Board, in this case on a project that did not receive first reading? And then number 15 is the extension. I believe that one is perhaps the water extension going to Riverview Landing to the north. And again, making a payment to Water Services Board. It's very clear in the Water Services Board that they say they do not contribute towards water going to a new subdivision.
I guess we're gonna have to get back to you on that question about bringing it forward. I have to talk to the CAO and the council and see what direction they want to take.
So I can expect an answer on those?
Yes, you can.
So I can check, let's say in a few weeks and see where we're at?
Yes, by all means, please do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? No, none? Okay. So then we'll move on to in camera. Be it resolved that in accordance with section 152(3) of the Municipal Act, council does now move in camera to discuss personal and legal matters. And be it further resolved that in accordance with section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act, any issues that are discussed are kept confidential until discussed at a regular meeting of council. Could I have a mover, please?
So,
Councilor Clyburn moves. Can I have a seconder, please? Councilor Bichetti seconds it. Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. So during in-camera sessions, we talked about the municipal emergency coordinator agreement. We discussed some issues in personal, we discussed some legals on legal, and we also discussed our addendum on municipal economic development infrastructure programs contribution agreement. So we'll start off with 10 and 19.31 on the municipal emergency coordinators agreement. Be it resolved that the Council of Rural Municipality of West St. Paul appoint Ken Azaransky as the emergency coordinator for a one-year term, effective January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. Be it further resolved that the mayor and the chief administrative officer be authorized to execute the municipal emergency coordinator's contract with Ken Azaransky. Could I have a mover, please? Councilor Bichetti moves. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Councilor Clyber seconds. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, carried. And now we'll go to 19.31, and I'll have our MLO read the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul passed Resolution 2023-371 at the regular planning meeting of Council held September 14th, 2023 to support the funding application submitted for the Miller Road pavement project under the Municipal Economic Development Infrastructure Program. And whereas a funding contribution of up to $1,375,000 of the projected $2,742,437 costs for the Miller Road pavement project was approved under the Municipal Economic Development Infrastructure Program on March 20th, 2024. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul authorize the CAO to sign the Miller Road pavement project contribution agreement. And further be it resolved that the Council of the Rural Municipality of West St. Paul transfer the provincial funding advance of $1,375,000 from the general account to a Miller Road pavement project interest-bearing account upon receipt of the funds. And further be it resolved that the municipal costs for the Miller Road pavement project be borne by the capital reserve.
Could I have a mover for it, please?
So moved,
Councilor
Mr.
Patrick Can moves. Can I have a seconder? Who's going to second it?
You can, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I'll second it then. Can I call for the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Carried. Okay, now we'll go to closing the meeting. Be it resolved that the meeting of this council stand adjourned at 9:52 p.m. Can I have a mover, please? Councilor Bichetti moves. Can I have a seconder? Councilor Clyber seconds it. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, carried.
Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Now we're done.